Alright, let's get into making a cream. So I have some ingredients here. I've got glycerin and xanthan gum, which I mixed together to help emulsify it. I don't think the glycerin is essential, but I do find the xanthan gum really helps to bind everything together, so I recommend that. I have borax here, which I'm going to be testing out as a preservative to see how it works. Hopefully it's not too skin caustic, because it is very alkaline. But yeah, we'll see how that works. So you want a preservative. It is technically optional. You can keep it in the fridge, which I recommend anyway for your cream. But preservative is good to have. I have some herbs. This is Heisho Wu, which is currently boiling right now. Beeswax. You can use any kind of wax. Soy wax, beeswax. There's different kinds of wax. That's to help emulsify it. Vitamin E, it's not essential. It helps to preserve it a little bit and to also add good qualities. You also need oil. I'm using rice oil. I'll show you that later. You can use olive oil. Most oils that aren't heat sensitive are good. Hemp oil as well, and a container to put it in. You also need a bowl, and we also need a strainer along with measuring cup, and also a electric mixer, hand mixer. Now currently I have a little bit of water. I've probably got about 200 milliliters of water here, and I've got some herbs. So the Heisho, I used 2 of these teaspoons, and this has been simmering on low heat for about 15 minutes. I'm going to give it another 15 to simmer it for about 30 minutes to make a water concoction, or a tea. Excuse the fog. Now you can also make an oil extraction as well of whatever herb you're using. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to use the water extraction. And in the water you can put herbal and animal parts and some minerals. So you want to kind of refine, if you're using mineral stuff, you want to refine that into a water soluble organic form usually. Otherwise some minerals can work, like I've made sulfur cream before, which you just simply add the sulfur in, and that worked perfectly fine. So anyway, I will show you the next step later on. Alright, so this has simmered for about 25 minutes. You can do it longer. You can do it up to about 50, depending on the herb. Some, like aconite, they need an hour. And I'm just going to let it cool, and then I will strain it. So now I'll strain this. Alright, so we've got about, let's take a look, nearly 200 milliliters of water. Okay. Alright, here's a little container. I'm going to put about 2-3 drops of vitamin E per 100 milliliters of finished product. I'm going to put about a quarter, maybe an 1/8 teaspoon of both borax and also xanthan gum. So an 1/8 to a quarter teaspoon for them per 100 milliliter of finished product again, and also about 2 teaspoons of glycerin per 100 milliliter as well. So I'll show you what that looks like. Here are the powders now with the liquids and all mixed together. Here's oil. Now use half oil to half water, give or take, and use about 10 grams of beeswax or wax per for each 100 gram finished product. I'm going to throw this in the microwave for about a minute or 2 and stir it every minute until it dissolves the beeswax. We also want to mix our liquids and this kind of chemical solution in, so I wish I could have recorded that with better audio. I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking. Anyway, I'll mix those together. Just like that, that's fine. We can see, because of the xanthan gum, that it's become this thick, kind of gummy solution. Pretty cool, eh? Alright, so after 2 minutes, this is pretty much nice and clear, and I just had to mix it a little to dissolve a few other... eventually, once this cools, it will actually go solid. So now what we want to do is slowly pour in this thick... oh geez, this thick kind of... oh man, it's a little bit too thick. Thick mix, just slowly pour in a little bit of it. And at the same time, what you also want to do is go like... oh, whoops, let me turn this on. Turn this off for a second. And pour it in. More in. Come on. Okay. Usually it's a lot smoother than this. Not too hard. Here we go. Okay, I'm gonna mix this off camera just to kind of get it nice, and I'll show you. Alright, so that looks pretty good to me. Look at that, look how thick that is. Now, using the borax made it different. I've never tried this before. Remember, the borax in this was an experiment, because I'm gonna pour some here and have it as a kind of a rot test to see how quickly it rots. And this is going to be a use test to see if it burns my skin or something horrible. So I don't recommend using borax unless I will leave a comment or change the description. I'm going to have to spoon this out, as you can see, it's a little bit too thick. I'll leave a thing in the comment section or description or whatever that says if it worked well or if it did not. So, you know, look back on that, and yeah, or I'll say in a later video. Anyway, I'll show you this once it's all done. Pro tip, try to spoon as much of the wax into the bin as you can and rub the rest of it off with your hands in the sink. Try not to use a scrubber, because it will get in there and basically destroy it. You can kind of wash those scrubbers like twice or 3 times in a washing machine, and you can use them again, but otherwise, yeah, you really don't want to do that. It's not pretty. Alright, here they are all done. Now you can leave these in the fridge to set and also to preserve them. I'm going to test this one outside of it, or test them both actually, just to see how quickly they rot. Otherwise, that is all done. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope it served you well. Of course, check the links in the description. Feel free to comment or email. I've got more stuff like this in the alchemy book. I've got recipes for different types of herbs and different types of cosmetics. Of course, check my Fiverr as well for divination, and feel free to donate if you want. Of course, have a nice day and goodbye.